The recent incidents of unrest have prompted me to make the following statement. And before I begin, I would like to unequivocally condemn the looting and destruction of our local community, the acts of violence towards the common citizen, and the thuggish opportunism displayed by a fraternity of our youth. However, to me, what is far more concerning is the response of ourselves as adults and parents and the hypocrisy of our government, politicians and the police to recent events. They would of course have you believe that the alarming behaviour of our youth has no political agenda and is solely based on opportunism and thuggery. But I will tell you this, the youths are very aware of what's going on around them. They do care about their bleak realities, but will not protest peacefully, as they have seen that many of our peaceful protests achieve very little. Society then has taught them that violence is the answer, and the government reinforce those sentiments every day with their international policies. The youth are so disillusioned with society that they feel they have no hope and no future, no love and no respect, and so they have turned inwards and formed their own leadership, disregarding those who should be fighting for their interests, yet have failed them so miserably. We are so quick to condemn these youths, but have failed to look at the underlying factors that would induce such a regression. These youths are not aliens, they are our children. They did not fall from spaceships or suddenly become menaces to society. This was installed into them by us, and so we must take great responsibility as leaders who don't lead, teachers that don't teach, preachers that don't preach, and parents that often fail to lead by example. Indeed, it is very easy to point the finger, but let's have a closer look at things from a teenage perspective. We call them criminals, and they look at the bankers. We call them violent murderers, and they look at the police. We say they are void of morals and integrity. They look at the politicians, and we talk of leading by example, and often they look at their parents. We say they are void of morals and integrity, but do we practice what we preach? No. Do our children know this? Yes. So this is the main reason why there is a disconnect between the youth and society, because they know that we are hypocrites on every level. Babies are not born wanting Nike trainers, flat screens and bling bling with an alarming aptitude for violence. They are created, and it is us who endorse that get what you can when you can mentality. It's this poisonous, demonic Western ideology that has taught them this and has now been manifested in their mentality and synthesized in their actions. We need to take off our rose-tinted glasses and see things as they really are. Many of you are ignorant of the real truths, contaminated by the cancer of ignorance and ill perception. Because you are older does not necessarily mean you are wiser. You are fed an angle of truth, at best 33 degrees of it, a portion of the real deal, a fraction of reality, that we build our distorted perception of this world and our children on. Be warned. The system has been waiting for a chance like this to implement draconian legislations that will affect our human rights, civil liberties, and privacy forever. So, be careful what you wish for, family. The reality is, our children now interact more with machines than they do with human beings. And so, they build their perception of reality on what we have taught them on a variety of platforms. Each day we force feed our youth a toxic diet of vanity, violence, profanity, overt sexuality and materialism. So why are we so alarmed when we see our youth's values eroding and regressing at such an alarming rate? As a man thinketh, so is he. The system know exactly what they are doing. It is indeed time for us to wake up. And just because our youth do not seem to have a political agenda, do not think that they are numb to politics. They, unlike you, do not watch the synthetic news channels that you embrace so readily. They get their news from organic, purer sources, much closer to the truth, and by utilizing the modern technologies available to them. They see the truth. The anger burns silently within, growing in intensity until it explodes. The mainstream media and the government cannot fool them as they have indeed fooled the masses. They knew, before you did, that Mark Duggan was executed by our Masonic demonic police force. They did not digest the mainstream media narrative, which we, as many of us, as adults, feasted ourselves upon. They saw the true catalyst for the Tottenham riots, which was when a 16-year-old girl was set upon by at least 7 police officers with truncheons and beaten senseless. Did you? And so they responded. The police knew exactly what they were doing, but of course, never expected the situation to spread as it had, and at the rate that it had. The fact is, the only time the police and authorities tell the truth is when the evidence is so overwhelming that the facts cannot be denied, or the public interest is so overwhelming that they have to respond. So, Great Britain, you can get all the brooms out you want, but you cannot sweep the legitimate concerns of our youth underneath the carpet. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Merlin Emmanuel. And now I'm going to hand over to Zita Holber.